When I married Clara 10 years ago, I thought I had found my forever. We met in college. She was smart, confident, and had this charm that made people listen. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real, or so I thought. Over the years, we built a life together. A small house, steady jobs, and a circle of friends who admired our bond. So when our 10th anniversary came, I decided to make it special. I planned a surprise vow renewal ceremony to remind her, and myself, of what we'd built together. The day was perfect. The garden venue was filled with lights, soft music, and the smell of roses. Our friends and family were there, smiling as Clara walked down the aisle in a pale blue dress. I felt my heart swell with love. When it was her turn to speak her vows, she smiled, but something about that smile was different. Cold. Almost mocking. She took the microphone and began softly, 10 years is a long time. We've been through a lot, haven't we? The guests nodded, smiling, expecting sweet words. But what came next froze me to the core. You know, Mark, she said with a smirk, sometimes I wonder what my life would have been if I had married Ryan instead. You were my backup plan. The crowd went silent. I settled. Maybe I should have gone back to my ex. Laughter rippled through a few stunned guests who thought it was a joke. But her tone wasn't playful. Her eyes told the truth. She meant every word. My chest tightened, and my world blurred. I forced a shaky laugh, pretending it was part of the speech, but deep down, I knew something had died in me right there. I finished my vows with trembling hands, trying to save face. After the ceremony, she brushed it off. Relax, Mark, she said, rolling her eyes. It was just a joke. Everyone knows I love you. But that night, when everyone left and the candles burned low, I sat alone, staring at her phone buzzing non-stop on the table. The name flashing across the screen made my stomach drop. Ryan. I didn't want to be the kind of man who snooped, but after what she said, I couldn't resist. I picked up her phone. The messages told me everything. I miss you, he wrote. You looked amazing in blue today. He's lucky you're still pretending. My hands shook as I scrolled through months of texts, pictures, and secret meetups. She wasn't just reminiscing about her ex. She was seeing him behind my back. The next morning, I didn't confront her. I acted normal. I made her breakfast, kissed her cheek, and even joked about last night. Inside, I was planning. My revenge wouldn't be loud or cruel. It would be quiet, clean, and final. I wanted her to feel the emptiness she'd given me. Over the next week, I moved money from our joint account into a separate one under my name. I contacted a lawyer, explained everything, and began the paperwork. Then, I called Ryan. He didn't recognize my voice at first. I introduced myself calmly. This is Mark, Clara's husband. I know everything. There was silence. Meet me, I said, or I'll make sure your girlfriend finds out about this. He agreed to meet at a cafe. When he arrived, he looked nervous. I showed him printed copies of the messages. You can have her, I said flatly. But make sure you know who she really is. I left before he could reply. I didn't yell or threaten him. I wanted them both to think they'd won. A week later, I told Clara I had a surprise for her. I said it was a short getaway to reignite our marriage. She looked excited, maybe guilty, maybe hopeful. We packed, drove 2 hours to a lakeside resort, and checked into a beautiful cabin. That evening, as she sat by the fire sipping wine, I handed her a gift box. What's this? She asked, smiling. Inside were divorce papers, the printed texts, and a note that read, You were right. You should have married your ex. Now you can. Her smile faded. Her hand trembled as she looked up at me. Mark, please, I didn't mean... But I interrupted. You didn't mean to get caught, I said. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I'm just returning the favor, privately. I left the key on the table, walked out, and drove away. That night, she called a dozen times, sent long apologies, begged for another chance. I didn't reply. The next morning, I posted a single message on social media with a photo from our vow renewal. Some vows were lies, but the lesson was real. Then I deactivated my account and disappeared from that chapter of my life. Weeks later, I learned through a mutual friend that Ryan had dumped her. Apparently, after our meeting, he realized she was still lying to him too, about everything. She lost her job not long after, her reputation tainted by rumors she'd started herself. Karma, I suppose, had better timing than I ever could. It's been a year now. I've moved to a new city, started a small business, and even met someone kind, someone who values honesty over appearances. Sometimes I still think about that night, her voice echoing in my mind, "You were just my backup." But now I smile. Because I wasn't her backup, she was my lesson. And in the end, I didn't lose her. I freed myself.